Quick pass off to the right. And now the pressure being put on by Atlantic is clear, but they are maintaining their pressure. Oh, now it's Atlantic, and they came on offside, it looks like, or it was someone stepped into touch. Yeah, it was a player stepping into touch there. So we'll have our first line out of the game. Prairie will have the throw in. Prairie's made up of Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. So you got a good bunch of young athletes here making up that team. The hooker's Emily Tutosi. She'll do the throwing. We're in the number 2. Good job by the inside center, number 12, Taylor Post. She makes another move, and that'll be our first try of the game. Taylor Post scoring the try under the posts. So Prairies with the first points of the game. 5-0 with the conversion to come. So good start. Lots of pressure from the Prairies. So points are good on the conversion, making it 7-0. Just going to make a quick adjustment on the camera here, folks. Stand by. From the kickoff. Good pressure being put on by the Prairies yet again. Oh, and the fake flat pass, and in comes number 22, wing Elisa Sandron. She's immediately tackled. Now that's your hooker, Emily Tutosi. She goes well into contact. Straight back pass, and now kick over the top by the fly half, questioning the back 3 coverage, and that's a well-probing kick. And that'll go into touch.
Prairie's try scored by number 12, Taylor Post. Convert good by number 10, Lauren White.
So Lauren White got the extras on that one. And so now we're going to have a line out Atlantic under a bit of pressure inside their own end. And you'll think that Prairies are going to try and just pour through, try and disrupt that line out first of all, so that there's not clean possession. And then from there, see if they can get on a loose ball there. A bit of a miscue, and that is staying Atlantic side, but it's a bit of a mess. No call from the referee. And now the charge down. Good work by the hooker. That's right, Tutosi. And now they could have another try on. They do. Oh, just at the line, and try given to number 22, Elisa Sandron. And so just straight hands down the park, just like that. It's 12-0, so it could be a long afternoon for Atlantic. So it'll be Lauren White to pick up the next couple here. It's Not an easy kick, certainly not a sitter. Flags go up. It's 14-0. She makes no mistake.
Prairie's try scored by number 22, Alyssa Sandra. Convert good by number 10, Lauren White.
So Atlantic has got to do something to stop this Prairie tide. They just keep pouring through and getting down to the Atlantic end. And that's well taken by Morgan King. Prairie's looking to be a well-drilled team here. Nice spin pass now. Keep in mind, they're coming from 3 different provinces, so they haven't had a lot of time to work together. Really, this arrival in Ontario, that's a great job. Picked up kick on the wing by 22, Elisa Sandron. And there's the Prairies just knocking on the door again for another try here. They just keep rolling along. Atlantic trying to get back in position to defend. They've got a black wall set up now and a miscue, an advantage coming to the Atlantic. And so we'll take the knock on, and it'll be a scrum to the Atlantic. And really all they can do at this point is give that ball a kick down the park. Twin Elm Rugby Park has seen lots of great rugby here in recent years. The NACRA Sevens tournament held here, Pacific Nations Cup held here. As the Atlantic does a great job with a back row move from number 8 Mandy Wells. She's immediately tackled, and now they're happy to just kick it down the park. And boy, they didn't gain much territory, even though they're behind the 22. That's coming right back, and so we'll have a line out here for the Prairies. So Atlantic doing well to repel the Prairie threat here. They've managed to get their hands on that ball, and now a warning coming from the referee. And that ball was unplayable by Atlantic going in, so it'll be a scrum to the Prairie. So great job by the Prairie forwards to wrestle that ball back and get it into their territory in terms of being able to use it. Charging through. Now the quick offload to the number 8 for the Prairies, Keisha Joden. And they're happy to go straight hands down the line to the outside center. Darius Tendler. Atlantic's turned that ball over. Atlantic looking to serve that ball now. Oh, and that player's taking it for 5 points the other way. That's Miranda Seifert. And you got to feel like she might have been a little bit offside on that one. She left pretty quick. And Seifert just picked it up and took it all the way in on clean heels. And so now we've got another 5 points on the board. 19-0. So Atlantic felt like they were in control, but that pass was just a little too predictable. The back row Seifert got eyes like dinner plates and started chasing that down. And just perfectly timed, she walked right into it, took it all the way in from about 22 meters out. Similar kick to the last one, White, from about 20 meters on the angle. Inside the 22-meter line, she's scraped that one a little low, so the score will stay 19-0.
Prairies try scored by number 7, Miranda Seaford.
So it'll be Atlantic to kick off again. You got to feel like this might become the best part of their game is the restart, because they've been doing it all afternoon so far. They need to get a high offering. It's gone just 10 meters and knocked on. So here's a chance for Atlantic as Lindsay Ewan couldn't find the handle on that one on the kickoff. So it'll be scrum for Atlantic. So, of course, we're talking about the Prairies made up of Alberta, Saskatchewan, Manitoba. Atlantic made up of all the Atlantic provinces, PEI, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, and Newfoundland. So, great bunch of athletes out there. It's a great way to keep top athletes involved when maybe they don't have the numbers on a province-by-province basis. And first real offensive moves here by Atlantic now inside the Prairie half. Flinging it down the line. That's a great job to the lock, Caitlin Blanchard. And now at the 22, inside center, Andrea Cantwell's brought down. Bit more confidence showing here as the scrum half, Mandy Wells, flings it right. Unfortunately, a knock-on will stop their progress. And it's going to be a scrum to the Prairies. But signs of life from this Atlantic side that they can play with the Prairies. They've just got to lower that error count. Played my rugby as a young man out here in Twin Elm with the Ottawa Irish. Brings back plenty of memories, mostly of all the speeding tickets I used to get out here because the police would be waiting for me behind the billboards out by Richmond. So we're going to have another scrum. They managed to turn it, and Atlantic has got it now. So great position for them. They've steeped up their back line. We'll take a look with that other picture there. We can see the Atlantic back line very steep, and they're looking to attack here at a great spot on the field just outside the 22, and they'll go straight hands and see if they can outpace their opposite number. Nice. Oh, and a loose pass. It's not knocked on. Out to the wing now. That's gone awry, and Prairies have picked it up. No advantage being shown. And that's just nudged into touch. So it'll be line out to the Atlantic. Good net result. So that didn't go straight. So Prairies with the option. Do they want to take a line out or scrum in 15? And not backing their, well, I wouldn't say they're not backing their scrum, but I guess they like the line out as a platform, and they're happy to throw it in again. Most teams would go with the scrum because it's a better proposition in terms of percentage play. That's a nice throw to the back of the line out. Going straight down the line now. Atlantic equal to the task, making a big tackle on the inside center. Taylor Post, she scored the first try of the game. And now a little clearance kick by Lauren White down the field. That hangs up to an Atlantic advantage, then takes a quirky bounce. And good cover tackling by the Prairies players. Atlantic scrum half Mandy Wells now. She flips it off to Megan Kinsman. Ball going laterally on this pitch right now. Now a penalty coming. Looks like hands in the ruck, the call there. And now some nice running by the inside center, Cantwell. But look at loose ball dropped. We're coming back for the original penalty right at midfield. And what will Atlantic do now? I think they'll be happy to either run it or just punch it down the field. Being in the middle of the field, they got to have a pretty good kicker from hand to make good use of this opportunity. But they kick it and it gets into touch. So that was a nice clearance kick, picked up about 15-20 meters there. And Atlantic will still have the throw in. 19-0. So Prairie's in the lead. Atlantic would really like to get some points on the board, but that throw-in's not going to help their cause. No call coming from that. Didn't look like it went straight. But now pounding into the line is Lisa McGrath. What's happened there? Maybe a knock on, I think. So we'll have a scrum instead. Two games a day, all week except for Friday. Check the NWLrugby.com website, and it'll have all the streaming schedule there for you and all the points and statistics to see who's scoring what, when, and why. And post-match write-ups from our man Connor McGee. Victoria, nice stolen ball from that line out. That ball's gone to ground, so mistakes going both ways, and so it'll be another scrum inside the Prairies, half inside the 22 now by just a meter or so. So this is a good chance for Atlantic. They've got to play some precise rugby now. If they're going to keep the ball in hand, keep it simple, and just bash up and go 2 or 3 phases, be patient, and the success will come possibly. Just almost perfect conditions, no humidity like I'm usually used to in summertime in Ottawa. 24 Celsius. And, oh, that's an intentional knock on. That's going to be potentially a yellow card against the Prairies. She had no attempt to pick that ball up. Advantage being played to Atlantic as number 3 tight head Mary Giles goes into the line. Advantage will still be on because they haven't gone at least 10 meters and now gone into touch, and they're going to come back. And I think we're going to see a yellow card for the intentional, or no, he's going to play it as a straight-up penalty. But a conversation should be had to the Prairies player that you can't just slap that ball down like that and expect no punishment. Now, a bit of a loose pass off the penalty there. Jory Rose has picked that up for Atlantic. And now you're feeling the momentum coming from the team in black there. They're getting a bit more organized. Shy of the line there. That was a pass from Mary Giles, the captain. They're organizing a bit of a rolling maul now. And that ball went in by the Atlantic, but unplayable, and so it'll be a scrum to the Prairies. But with the wind at the Atlantic team's back, the team in black on the right side of your screen, they're going to be really putting the pressure on Prairies here because the clearance kick is probably not going to go that far. It's a decent breeze, and you're kicking from your own end goal, so it's pressure time. Watch for those Atlantic flankers to break off as quick as they can without getting called. And that wheel, perfect thing, but oh no, it's not. They've wheeled that, and I didn't know that was a penalty these days, but it must have been just too quick a shift. I think there's a move of foot in scrums. You can't spin it like a merry-go-round. It's got to be a bit of a controlled move. So Prairies and we'll be right back here.
Hit something right here.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So the Prairies with the throw-in, and they're showing good form off that line out. Nice, long, crisp passes. And a big tackle put on the inside center Taylor post. They regather. Atlantic looking more organized defensively as well. No free passes for the Prairie girls. It's Miranda Seifert. She's wearing number 7, but she is the number 8. And now, agonizingly off the fingertips, but not before, I think, advantage for a penalty was being played, or was that for the knock-on? We'll see in a moment. It was for the knock-on. So Prairie's knocking that ball on, just a pass just a little too short. And so Atlantic here with another chance. So I think the key for Atlantic is just going to be that they need to really maybe shorten their passes up a bit and not try and spread their game so wide. We're going to reset that scrum. Doug Cross with you here from Twin Elm Rugby Park. A little Rugby Canada crew up here, the road crew. Alana Gattinger on her Cross Canada Odyssey, starting off in Newfoundland with the CRC Under-19 Championships. Jen Smart coming in from Toronto, and myself, and then we'll all head off to the National Festival in Calgary next week. Spin pass. Nice job by Julia Folk. I'm sorry, that's Folk is from the Prairies. That was Mandy Wells. That ball going the other direction for the Prairies. Straight pass back. So after a 19-point outburst, and she just hung on to that too long and paid the price. The Atlantic player, delayed pass, and just gets hammered by a Prairies player. Atlantic holds on to possession. They've got to get a little more dynamic in their passing, and the inside center there, Andrea Cantwell, just a little overzealous going on the outside shoulder there, past her player before she could get the ball. This will be Wells. They're doing a good job now. Nice pass to the left inside pocket there from the fullback. That's Aaron Beasley going to ground. Atlantic's got to get their numbers. I don't know what they're all waiting for. Wells now gets it to the outside half, Kate Parkinson. And now, nice job by the loosehead, Lisa McGrath. She took it up a good 10 meters. And that ball stripped, but it went back, went off the foot, says the referee. Megan Kinsman cleans that up. Spinning it right now. They've got numbers out there. They could create an overlap if they get one more pass away, and they've done it, but not at the pace they need. Chelsea McGuire hemmed in by the Prairies cover D. And now that ball's turned over. And this might go all the way, trying to pick up the number of that player out there. And that is a terrific individual score by the Prairies. So that was number 22 for the Prairies, and she's playing on the wing, Elisa Sandron. And so another try here takes them into the 20s. 24-0 now, with one sitting in front of the posts here.
Prairie's try scored by number 22, Alyssa Sandron. Converted by number 10, Lauren White.
So the Atlantic are really starting to make things happen a little more, despite 26-0 down. Now a big, deep probing kick by the Prairies, and it's just going to lay an egg back there in the back three, picked up quickly by the Atlantic wing, Amanda Jardine. And they're looking for a couple more options as the fullback, Aaron Beasley, looks for the offload, but plenty of cover defense, and they're just getting driven back with each touch of the ball. The Prairies happy to just hem them in and force the pressure. Kick over the top to buy some space and time, and that's about the only thing Atlantic could do to stop that suffocating defense of the Prairies. And didn't pick up on it before, but the Prairies were without Taylor Post. She's gone for some field side repairs there and coming back on the field. She's wearing the number 12, coming back on there. So the ball not straight, so going to have the scrum in 15 as the call from Atlantic. Next game up, Equipe Quebec versus British Columbia. I believe that sounds right, yeah. And as I said, you can check the whole NWLrugby.com website for all the games. Oh, one of our camera people is going to be focusing solely on some players that are from Quebec. Next game, Post. Oh boy, and Post is just feeling the bumps and bruises of this encounter. She scored a try early, but she's not getting a free pass through there. Now Atlantic has come away with it. I feel like they're on the ascendancy a bit. They're just tightening up their play a bit. And now, nice offload just before she goes into touch. And now the flag goes up as inside center for Atlantic. Andrea Cantwell gets pushed into touch. So probably about, I'm trying to remember if they're doing, I believe it would be full 80-minute games because they're just playing one game a day, senior rugby. So, but there may be some amending of the timing there. Prairies, immediate pressure. Some of those Atlantic players may have left just a touch early. Jaylee Meyer now. Good job by scrum half Julia Folk. Getting that ball back before she's pinged for not releasing. Folk again to White. White decides to hold on to it, looking like she's going to pass to the left, and now Folk in immediate support. And they are working well as a tandem. The pick and drive now by the Prairies. That looks like Emily Titosi. Discipline shown by Atlantic. They're not leaving early as Post is brought to ground. We've got another Prairies player down, Seifert. She's getting up slowly, but she is getting up. Titosi now, driving into the line. Goes for a couple, and now penalty, not releasing that ball. Players got to learn, the referees are giving you not even one Mississippi to get rid of that ball. It's like instant. As soon as you're tackled on the ground, you got to let go of that. I don't know that they apply that equally, though. Sometimes you'll see squeeze ball happening. Well, why that's not releasing, but then technically they're not maybe tackled in that situation. So we have an Atlantic player down. It's the fly half for the Atlantic, Kate Parkinson. So we'll see what she's going to do. Hopefully she'll stay in the game. You don't want to see people coming out of the game right off the top. And so she's going to come off the field. Replacements come on. I'm sorry, I was just checking some paperwork and didn't see the number of the 18 for Atlantic coming on. So my crack staff picking up that Isabel Dilger is in the game now. So tough break for Atlantic, losing their starting fly half, Kate Parkinson. We'll hope it's just something that needs some ice and stretching. Though I believe the stretching part already happened with the injury, unfortunately. So from the penalty, they kick that ball down. So it's going to be a scrum to the Pacific, not the Pacific, the Prairies. Oh, they're opting for the line out. They had the choice. They are going to take the line out. Emily Totosi going to throw that in, number 2 for the Prairies. And now they've taken too long to set things up, and interesting, you don't see that call much. The line out just a little toing and froing, taking too long. And now the quick pass from the Atlantic prop, Mary Giles. Referee had to duck his head down. I'll get you his name in a moment. Swinging it down the line now. Prairie's just smothering in their defense. There hasn't been a big open break by the Atlantic yet. This might be characterized as just that, running through some would-be tacklers. Wells getting it to the right. Trying to get it down the line. There's not going to be one quick fix for Atlantic here. They're going to have to be patient and just keep working at it. And now in through the gap, that's 18, the replacement that we mentioned, Isabel Dilger. Her first touch of the ball. She gets tackled hard, but right back into it. Wells to the hooker, Kinsman. And now her front row mate, Giles, the captain. Oh, that was a bit of a flat pass. Could have been characterized as even forward if you're cynical, which I'm not. Tanisha Campbell taking it in now. Now pick and drive to the left. And the student body pulling guard move there by McGrath. She absolutely cleaned that ruck out with a broom and hose there. That was a good job by McGrath. Not sure it was entirely legal. And now, it could have been a call, and it is going to come. Not releasing the ball at the penalty, at the breakdown. And so that will cost Atlantic all that good forward momentum, but they're showing like they've got some interest left in this game despite the scoreline. They're going to start chipping away at this Prairies team, and never say never. That's why they give you 2 halves to play this game. $26-0. 4 tries, 3 conversions. If you're in the Ottawa area this week, come on out to Twin Elm. 2 o'clock and 4 o'clock are the kickoffs every day except for Friday, no games, and Sunday it'll be an early start as it's getaway day on the final round, 9:30 and 11. Now look at the Prairies, happy to just run up the field. Lots of support. Knock on though. Atlantic with a free ball here. What will they do with it? That's out. Wells. Oh, and a bit of a miscue, and so they'll be happy to come back and take the scrum there. Wells is going to get that ball in for the Prairies. Sorry, the Atlantic. So, nice flowing movement here in the Atlantic back line. Dilger now with the offload. No, that's the fullback. Aaron Beasley doing a nice job. Advantage coming now for the Atlantic. Look for the quick tap. They're leaving their feet at the breakdown. Prairies getting pinged. And now a bit of a no-look pass by the second row Blanchard, but it pays dividends. Oh, and now through. That's the second row, Abby Goodwin. She's done well. 10 meters out now. Offload to Tanisha Campbell. She tries to sneak the outside lane. And it's a try. I was losing track of where I thought she was at the 5-meter line. She was right at the line. So first points for Atlantic. Great job by the flanker. Number 7, open side, Tanisha Campbell. So after what looked like a one-sided contest going on here, Atlantic has, in the last few minutes, revitalized their presence. They're making a show of it now. That's good for them. Oh, and that conversion's not going to go across, so the score will stay 26-5.
Atlantic try, scored by
Tanisha
number 7,
Campbell.
Tanisha Campbell.
Getting first points on the board for the Atlantic team. Started to say, yeah, get out to Twin Elm. There's no, don't believe there's a charge at the gate. They just want to have fans come out and enjoy this. And it's a great place to see the future stars of Canadian rugby as we consider that, our Canadian women do well at the World Cup. They're going into the Olympics in 2016. Exciting times to come see young rugby players be the next ones to fill the gap. Kick over the top by the scrum half, Wells now. Interesting kick. And that goes into touch. It'll be line out for Prairies, but a good pressure kick from Atlantic, and I think they need to do a little bit more of that. Don't make such a hard job of getting the ball down the other end. You do have the wind at your back. Use it while you've got it in this half, and try and keep the Prairies penned in their own half. So a little bit of a wind issue here. See if the Prairies Tutosi can make that straight, and no problem there. And ball coming out from the mess, and then White chipping that into Atlantic half. Gathered in by the fullback, Aaron Beasley. She nearly went into touch, and then her teammate wing, Amanda Cantwell, does go into touch from that pass. Great shot here just in front of the grandstand. Cleanly taken by the Prairies. You can see Post with cotton batting in her nose there, and now that ball gets the outside lane for the Prairies, and that is Elisa Sandron. And look at the pace, and she's trying to find that next gear, but she's gathered in by the Atlantic cover defense. Now a penalty coming. She didn't release that ball when she was tackled. And maybe that's a hands in the ruck, maybe. Didn't think a ruck had formed, but interesting. That ball, and that is halftime, 26-5. The Prairies leading the Atlantic. And we'll take a quick break here from Twin Elm Rugby Park in Ottawa, and we'll be back with more second half action. You're watching NWL Championship Rugby from Ottawa.
Prairies 26, Team Atlantic.
So 26-5 the score here. Atlantic now parking inside the Pacific half. But it's Pacific put in. Now a penalty, and now we could have a card here. I don't know. Second blast of the whistle. Will there be a conversation here to Atlantic? So towards the end of the first half, Atlantic started getting a little more organized and started playing a bit more of the rugby, and eventually it paid off. Now clearance kick, will that make it into touch? It'll just get across the line. And great effort by Pacific there. Okay, just hold on to this. Just doing a little adjustment there for you folks. And the Atlantic looks like they've scored a try. They have their second try of the game. And is the tide turning for the Atlantic provinces? We'll tell you who that was in a moment, because I couldn't pick it up. But it makes it 10-0. Oh, it was 18, our replacement, Dilger, who came on. And she came on for the fly half, Kate Parkinson. So great job by Dilger to get her team second try of the game. Tough conversion kick to come. So that'll be a big kick for the Atlantic here. It would certainly boost their confidence, but that's nowhere close, and we'll stay at 26-10. But if I'm the Prairies, I'm getting a little nervous. This team is starting to show some signs of life from the right coast. So we'll have the Pacific kicking off here. And that's a low line drive gathered in by Atlantic. That ball's gone to ground. Advantage being played. Nothing happening there. We'll have a scrum. So the Atlantic doing well, holding on to that ball. Atlantic retaining possession very nicely. That ball's gone loose pass now. Didn't go forward, says referee Marty Taylor. Full credit to the Prairies. They're really pushing the Atlantic laterally. They're not getting a lot of penetration straight on. And Atlantic is just trying to find those gaps. But now whistle coming and not releasing the tackled player. The Prairie team retreating 10 meters. And a huge crunching tackle coming in onto the Atlantic number 8, Jory Rose. And a drop ball takes away the chance. Not before penalty coming back. Now it was for offside. The tackle on Rose deemed to the player left early to make that tackle. McGrath now. She is a bundle of joy to take care of through the line. She's had a number of big runs. Spinning it. Nice offload. Finding the gaps now, and that's the number 8 we just mentioned, Jory Rose. And you can just see the intensity level picking up by the Atlantic now. The replacement, Dilger. She holds on, waiting for help. That comes in the form of a clear-out ruck by Amanda Jardine. Possession staying Atlantic side. Megan Kinsman now taking it in. And you can just hear the wind leaving the lungs of the Atlantic player as she gets hit. Now big barging run by the front rower from Atlantic. That ball's fine, and the hands in there. Coming in from the side, not coming through the gate, says Taylor. Quick tap ball. Atlantic showing all the positive stuff. McGrath now just rumbling along, waiting for people to try and stop her, daring them to try and stop her. And now a third try for the Atlantic, and they are not out of this one, folks. And a much easier kick to come, and that's a great job. And CFR spotter did a great job picking up who scored that, and that is number 2, Megan Kinsman, the hooker, dropping across the line to push the score up to 26-15, and we got ourselves a ball game with this conversion kick. That'll make things very interesting. So definitely the Prairies have gone off the boil since the first half when they fired off 4 unanswered tries. Now it's been all Atlantic. I guess that's a tactic of the Atlantic. They're used to big tides out there. They go away and then they come back big time. If you've ever seen the Bay of Fundy, that's a big 22-meter gap. Kicking for the Atlantic is Mandy Wells, number 9. And the flags go up, so kicking when it counts. Wells gets them another 2 to bring it to 26-17.
Megan Kinsman, converted by number 9, Mandy Wells.
So the Pacific will kick this off, and just as Atlantic was doing in the first half, I think the Pacific are getting a little tired of doing the restarts. This one's a bit higher and deeper, asking some questions in the Atlantic, taken by the wing, Amanda Jardine. Not shying away from the contact, that's Jory Rose, setting it up down the right wing. Now quick hands down the line. That's Abby Goodwin. And it seems like Atlantic is just seeking out the contact now. They're enjoying bashing up against these Pacific players, Prairies players. Stop calling them Pacific players. We have a Pacific team. That's BC. Nice clean ball coming back for Wells to the blindside flanker, Rebecca Chapman. And into touch. So a much more composed Atlantic team in this second half. And the gap definitely reflecting that. 26-17 now. The teams for the second part of our doubleheader are on site now. Equipe Quebec and British Columbia. And they'll be happy to take in a lot of this game just on a scouting basis. That ball not in cleanly. Advantage being played by Taylor. Ball's gone to ground, but went back, and now that's a nice bit of running by Adrienne McDonald. Offload to the replacement, Dilger. Now that's gone into touch. So right in front of our position here, it'll be Totosi. Clean ball for the Prairies. Quick step inside by Lauren White as the pressure comes pouring through from Atlantic. And that ball is turned over by Atlantic, goes to ground. Dilger trying to clean it up. Flip pass to the outside now, the fullback. That's Chelsea McGuire. Stuff a little lateral still as the Prairies have stolen that ball at the breakdown. So possession going back and forth. Cleanly played game though, not a lot of stoppages. Full credit to both teams and the referee. Not a lot of mistakes, just good hard rucking. And there's a how you do. How do you do? A little physics experiment there. And now it's the Prairies that will retreat 10 meters. Quick tap by Megan Kinsman. They're going to bring it back as a Prairies player is down. So we'll see what's what with that player. She's getting up slowly, the Prairies player. I'm trying to pick up her number. I feel like she's going to stay in the game after she gets some water and a chance to collect herself. She will stay in the game. This isn't two-hand touch, folks. These girls play hard. So it's a two-score game. A converted try and a penalty or another try will get Atlantic in front. Right now, if they scored a converted try, they would be 2 points adrift. But lots of time left to see if they can make it a closer game. They certainly weren't in it at one point, 26-0. So they've got to be thrilled to death with 26-17 scoreline right now. Advantage, line out, not clean. Coming back Atlantic side. Quick two to the whistle from Taylor. It's the knock-on, and it'll be a scrum for the Prairies. And with the wind at the Prairies back, oh no, they've opted for the line-out, and that's not the first time. So they're not liking their chances, the platform that the scrum offers. They'd rather go with the line-out. They feel it's a better percentage play. And overthrown, and like that, advantage being played. I thought Atlantic had gotten their hands on it, but not straight. And so now some replacements coming in. This is number 23 for the Atlantic, Christine Lovett. We'll see who's coming off in favor of her. Strategic replacements being made now by Atlantic. As we see, it was number, she's not going to turn around, is she? Yes, she is number 5, the second row, Caitlin Blanchard. So it's Prairies with the put in. Nice, stable, but it was a feed. So an indirect penalty, Atlantic. Smart to keep the ball in hand. because it wasn't a penalty, full penalty. Oh, now stolen in contact, and the chip kick immediately given back to Atlantic. Dilger, she steps inside a would-be tackler. Now, nicely done by the fullback, Aaron Beasley. Atlantic showing the patience that maybe they were lacking in the first 20 minutes or so of this game, and they're content to just drive that ball up a meter at a time if they have to. Abby Goodwin now into the line. And now penalty going the other way. Hands in the ruck. Felt like it was Atlantic that had control of that ruck, so you could put your hands in that ruck. A bit of things a little bit unclear as to what she can do on that penalty. She just needed to tap the ball and throw it. That is the Prairies scrum half, Julia Folk. A little bit unsure how she wants Taylor to do this. He's given her a do-over, a mulligan in rugby. That's a nice one. Emily Totosi taking it into contact. You got to believe the Prairies will be desperate to get another score, even if it's a penalty, just to put this game out of reach. Because right now, the game hanging in the balance in the next few minutes. If Atlantic can get another score here, it'll be all to play for. Chip over the top. Just two players back and knocked on, and just what the pressure the Prairies was looking for to net. And unfortunately, the ball didn't bounce. Also, the Taylor felt the advantage was gained from the initial knock-on. The pursuit was then knocked on by Prairies, so net result, Atlantic will have the put-in at the scrum. So they dodged one there. I thought maybe it'd be scrum back from the original knock-on infraction. So a bit of a rainy day on the way up to Eastern Ontario yesterday, and that's all gone away now. Nice conditions here in the Ottawa area as Atlantic with the scrum inside their own 22, and a lot of movement. They got to get that ball in, and the referee will give one warning, and then they could lose possession there. Atlantic scrum half Mandy Wells wanting that platform absolutely stable before she gets that ball in. So the Atlantic now, good platform to work from that scrum. Quick hands, Dilger. She's immediately tackled before she can get rid of it. That's Amanda Jardine doing well. That ball's come out. Really could have been Prairies coming across if they wanted. Flat pass to number 23, the replacement Christine Lovett. Driving in hard, Megan Kinsman. Now, bit of a gap. You can see the Atlantic are pressuring, and where the defense was bending but not cracking, now it's starting to crack on the Prairie side. The knock-on. The only thing saving the Prairies on that one. So they'll have the scrum. We're going to have another replacement, number 20 for Atlantic, Jill Green, coming on the field. So some fresh legs. Looks like in the back row there, maybe at the number 8 spot. No, she's going to, they're trying to figure it out. Yeah, she's going to be playing on the flank there. And I missed who just came off. I think number 6, Rebecca Chapman, coming off there. So it's great on a replacement that you're immediately into a scrum and getting a feel for the game. That's Julia Folk getting in for Prairies. Immediately wrapped up. No clean ball. Now the back rows for Atlantic. Just punishing the slow ball, but not before a penalty. They'll They came around offside. Quick tap ball. Folk down the line to White. Knock on by the try scorer in the first half. Taylor Post. Advantage being played. None gained. So we'll bring it back for the scrum. So the error count rising a little bit in this second half. So that's Mandy Wells getting the ball in for Atlantic. Tight spin pass down the back line. Now it's gone nowhere, and trouble picking it up is an Atlantic in some pressure time now. Prairies happy to snap that ball up. That's Totosi. The hooker has gotten to it. Now service from Folk, and they're going to challenge the back three with a kick over the top. And gathered in before it goes into touch. That's a nice bit of running by Samantha Matheson. It'll be a try for Pacific. So it was Matheson doing the good work there, and then not sure what number got that. We'll find out from her. It's 22 for her second try, I believe, Elisa Sandron. So puts Pacific squarely back in the driver's seat at 31-17 with the conversion to come. DJ Jazzy Brad bringing the tunes to you here this afternoon, along with Jen Smart's amazing music collection. So it's going to be a long, long kick here. It's inside the 22, but on the angle, and just feels like it's miles away for White. She didn't strike it that well, and it falls around the 5-meter line there. So the score will stay 31-17. So that might be the death blow for Atlantic at this point. The restart from Atlantic, first one of the second half for them. And Camille Franklin took that one in for the Prairies. Tight spin pass, down the line, step inside. Now Atlantic trying to wrap up the Prairies player. Atlantic players matching up with their opposite numbers and now pounding through. That's a great job, but not before a spilled ball from number 8, Keisha Joden. Knock on gives possession back to the Atlantic now. And they're going to be feeling a bit frantic with about 10 to play here in the second half. Big push by the Prairies. Atlantic retreating but keeping possession, but a whistle coming. Knock on in that scrum somewhere. Someone touched it. We'll have the scrum here. Folk will put it in for the Prairies. Red number 9. Controlled response here from the Pacific as the number 8 Miranda Seifert. She's wearing number 7 but playing number 8, and this could be another score. Look at the bags of pace here by number 23 Samantha Matheson, and she is going all the way and scores the try. Or did she offload just before that? I'm pretty sure it was Matheson, 23. So after a bit of a slow start in the second half by the Prairies, they're back on form. 2 tries in the last 5 minutes, 36-17. Not to take away from the effort of the ladies from the Atlantic. They seemed down and out with no chance, and then scored 3 quick tries to get themselves back in this game. And so they'll be a team to watch as the week progresses. So tomorrow we've got Ontario playing in the Atlantic, so they're going to have a quick reset. Well, Ontario hasn't got a game under their belt, but everyone's got to do a one-day turnaround in this tournament.
Prairies try scored by number 23, Samantha Matheson.
And the Prairies will play Rugby Quebec as well tomorrow. So conversion no good. Atlantic will be sending that back. And we've got a couple of changes that have just happened while I had my head down. A restart by Pacific as we see Prairies fly half Lauren White come off the pitch. And also from Atlantic, Chelsea McGuire and number 8, Jory Rose coming off the field. And we have a Prairies player down. So I'd like to take a second to thank our sponsors here while we have a minute. DHL, CN, Gowlings, and the Government of Canada, along with Enterprise Canada, PR agency, our travel partner Merit Travel, and Marsh Insurance. It's that kind of support that helps us at all levels at Rugby Canada, and we're great to have those terrific partners helping us out here in all kinds of ways. So we're seeing another change, front rower for the Prairies coming back into the game. Well, she hasn't started in the game. That's Caitlin Riley. And we had number 22 for the Atlantic coming on, Holly Jones. Coming off for Atlantic is number 13, Adrienne McDonald. Some big runs from her through the opening 3 quarters of this match. So now, Prairie's really just playing out the string at this point, because they're going to have to. Both teams are going to have to turn around and do it all over again tomorrow. 36-17, and then one of them will get a break. Clean line out for Atlantic. Driving in hard, tackled hard. Just because this game is in the waning moments doesn't mean these teams are letting up. Getting it down the line, no mistakes at this point, but they're not cutting through that Prairie D. Now making a bit of inroads there. Mandy Wells, good offload. Player with no jersey number, so apologies to parents at home. We don't know who that is. Ellen Murphy now. She's dragging a Prairies player with her. Now the handoff to the no-name player. President's choice. Ball staying Atlantic side, and they've got some numbers out wide if they can do one more pass. And now that's Dilger She scored the first try in the comeback, and she's brought down just shy of the line. And now another try for the Atlantic. So they're not done yet. Don't forget, points for and against matter a lot too. So late in the game, you want to still keep scoring even if you're not in touch with the score. You want to close that gap down, and there's also a bonus point for losing by less than 7 points. So that to consider as well. They would need to do a bit more than that. We'll tell you who scored that try in just a moment. So you can see as the camera shot pulls back just how long a kick that is, right? Just a couple of meters in from the touchline. And that was never going to happen, so that'll stay at 36-22.
Atlantic try scored by number 18, Isabel Dilger.
Oh, Dilger gets her second of the game. And that's a great individual effort by the replacement. Remember, she came on for the fly half for the Atlantic, number 10, Kate Parkinson, who picked up a bit of a, looked like a knee knock or something in the second half. And now it's well taken restart ball by Mary Giles, the captain for Atlantic. High probing kick that's gone out on the full. They'll bring it back from the point of the kick. So, good concept. Maybe the execution not as sharp as they wanted. Atlantic hoping to, catch the Prairies unaware and maybe get a knock-on ball or a loose ball there. Instead, advantage Prairies up from the point of the kick. Emily Tatosi is going to throw this in. Short line out for the Prairies, and that is well taken. I don't know that it wasn't forward in the line. It maybe didn't pass the sniff test, but it passed the referee test. And now we're getting that ball down the line. Prairies want to widen that gap again after a response from Atlantic. And that's the wing back there, outside half. Jessica Barry now playing for the Prairies. Oh, and the flat pass. Keisha Sajodin, she is met immediately at the line. Ball staying Prairie side, and they're just going to use their methodical approach, get down the line a little bit, quick step inside, and that might be the breakout pass. One more to the wing, Jaylee Meyer. They're just 5 meters away now, and you can see them surging forward, the red wave. Oh, and just slipping through the gap like that, Darius Tendler for the Prairies. Getting yet another try late in this game for the Prairies to just widen the gap to 41-22. So that may well put an end to comeback hopes by the Atlantic, but I've got to say full credit to Atlantic for staying in this game. A lot of teams might have folded their tent up at halftime and said we'll reset tomorrow. Interesting kick approach here. And that goes in front of the post, so it'll stay 41-22, and we've got to be running on vapors on the clock. Next up, Équipe Quebec versus Colombie-Britannique. That's all the French you're getting out of me today. Unless they score a few tries, then I'll give you a good flamboyant essay. Atlantic pouring over. They got to stay on their feet, remember. Possession stays Atlantic side. And you can just show how keen they are to keep performing in this game, even though it's essentially over for them. And now that's Dilger. Will she score her third? And she's been the real story of this game, coming in as a replacement, scoring 2 tries for the Atlantic. And now quick pick and go by the inside center, Andrea Cantwell. And now the offload to the tight head, Mary Giles. She's the captain. And keeping it into 10-player rugby now. And now the penalty coming. The Pacific Prairies, rather, have got to retreat right to their line. And now just at the try line. Surely the Atlantic are going to score one more here. Don't cue the comeback music. There isn't enough time for that. But Dilger, right at the line, she offloads as she's tackled. And that ball kicked through on now by the Prairies. And so all that work erased with the chip through hack on by the Prairies player. And that's a whistle. It'll be a scrum to the Prairies. So now number 21 for Ontario coming on. Not Ontario. Ontario's not even playing for the Prairies. I'm just getting lost with those red jerseys. That's Jada Moats that's come on for the Prairies player. We'll see who that was. Now an indirect penalty. Now was the hooker coming off, Megan Kinsman. She had a lot of good runs and making things happen. That's the Atlantic hooker, Emily Titosi coming off for the Prairies. Advantage being played now by Taylor. Now Atlantic with possession here. Well, they get another try to just narrow the gap a bit here. Boy, the Prairies defense equal to the interest of Atlantic's backline. And she was held and then released, did a good job in tight space. And the Prairies showing no let up late in this game. Some fresh legs on there, and that may have something to do with it. That's Julia Folk keeping things interesting. Getting it out to the flanker now. That's Miranda Seifert. Again, remember, she's playing number 8, even though she's wearing number 7. And the knock on, and that'll be the game, and that's a final score of 41-22. The Prairies defeating Atlantic, and good first up rugby by both these teams, and they'll be ones to watch later on in the week. Remember, this is a round robin tournament. Points count for everything in this tournament, so interesting doings ahead. Thanks a lot for watching. We're going to stop and reset right now, and next kickoff coming up about 5 minutes to 4. We'll be back on the air, and that is going to be between Equipe Quebec and British Columbia. You're watching National Women's League Rugby Championships from Ottawa, Ontario, Twin Elm Rugby Park. I'm Doug Cross for Amanda and Riley. I want to say thanks for watching, and back with more in a bit. Hang on. Be right with you. Hang on.
Who do you have for the home team next?
It's hang on. Sorry, let me just check the schedule here, man. I feel like it's BC is the home team.
So they basically have the bottom team as the
Yeah.
home team?
Yeah. Thanks, girls. That was great. Yeah, you're really, you could see you get more confident as you guys went along, so that was good.